Hey everyone, it's Ashley.
Drop verbal bombs, telling the world they're onto something. Sharing the love, tell them who we are. So totally awesome.
Totes joking. I'm not Ashley. So today we're talking about books, and the topic is what are our favorite books? I have an entire notebook page full of favorite books, books that I dislike enough to mention, and books that are on my nightstand and I'm waiting anxiously to read them. So I'm gonna go back to where it all started. I actually didn't used to love reading books. When I was a little kid, I did, and then somewhere along the way it kind of got lost, and in high school I read almost no books. But when I was a kid, I loved The Giver. That was like my favorite book. We read it in school, and I thought it was mind-blowing how much their society was different than ours. And I love it, and I heard it's being turned into a movie, and I hope that they do it justice. Then around junior high, we had to read books as like a program where you'd get points for them in class. And so I read the Homecoming series by Cynthia Voigt and loved it. Still love it. I related to it so much. The main character's name was Dicey. Her mother abandoned her and her siblings, and she had to walk them from Connecticut to Maryland with like $5, and took them months to walk that far. And it's all about their travels and who they met along the way, who helped them, and how she survived. And then it goes on after they've gotten to their destination, what their life is like after that, all the way up until when she goes to college. So I kind of feel like I grew up with her, and she's one of my favorite characters. My favorite piece of classic literature is Great Expectations. I haven't read it in a long time, and I want to read it again, but I don't know. I guess I kind of identify with the poor kid. I always wanted to be the kid that actually got out. In high school, I had to read some books for AP English and things like that. And out of those books, there was a few that I actually really fell in love with. The Cider House Rules. Love that book. Love that movie. Love Tobey Maguire. End of story. I read A Separate Piece for summer reading. I guess it kind of gave me an insight into boys at that age, and I don't know. I love it. Towards the end of high school, I think I might have even read it after I had graduated. The Colts high school book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Loved that book. And also that's being made into a movie with Emma Watson, and I'm super excited. So my favorite books that I've read recently all work from the past and move to the present. The Dan Brown series, the Robert Langdon series, the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and The Lost Symbol. And I love all three of those books, but my favorite is Angels and Demons. That book is amazing. I'm super interested in the Roman Catholic tie-ins and everything to do with the Vatican, and that's the book that kind of inspired me to really want to focus on going to Rome more than anywhere else in the world. But gotta be honest, I hated Angels and Demons, the movie. The Da Vinci Code was okay. It was a pretty good movie, but Angels and Demons sucked. They changed the whole movie, and I'm so mad. I feel like they should have just taken the storyline and called it something different, because they changed all the characters' names, they changed major events. It's not even Angels and Demons anymore. Ugh. I was really into reading Jodi Picoult for a while. I've always said Jodi Picoult, but apparently it's Picoult. I don't like it. Anyway. Sorry, I'm saying your name wrong. Jodi Picoult. About half the books I loved, and about half of the books I really didn't like, so I never finished reading all of them. There's still, she has like 20 books, and there's still quite a few that I haven't read, but I don't think I'm going to. My favorite, though, the one that I would tell somebody to read if they weren't interested in Jodi Picoult, whatever, is 19 Minutes, and that's about a school shooting, and it reminds me a lot of the One Tree Hill episode where they had the school shooting, and That's one of my favorite episodes, and this is one of my favorite books. In college, I was forced to read The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and honestly, I hated reading it. It took all that I had in me to get finished with that book. But once I was finished, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I was crying by the last page, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to kind of earn it, I think. The middle of the book is so slow. And so that's why it's also on my dislike books. But in the end, I'm in love with it. And the movie, exactly the same. Loved it. And then of course we have like the cult books, Harry Potter, The Hunger Games. Cannot rave enough about The Hunger Games. Can't wait to see the movie. I am keeping track of it via Caitlin's updates, like every week on her Hollywood blog. And The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. Love those books, love those movies. I heard they're maybe making an American version of the movies. Can't wait for that. Now let's talk about a couple books that I dislike. I read Eat, Pray, Love. Didn't get it. Sorry, it was pretty boring for me. I understood what she was trying to do. I didn't feel the inspiration like so many people felt. I mean, yeah, I wanted to go to Italy, but P.S. I wanted to go to Italy before I read that book. The Road, Cormac McCarthy. I have a love-hate relationship with that book. Now is the time where I'm going to talk about Infinite Jest. Right there. That big lug of a book. I spent all of July and August, well, most of August, reading that book, and I finished it exactly on the day that we were supposed to finish it, even though I was like 200 pages behind a week before that. There were some interesting parts, and I finished it because like I have a complex where I have to finish something, and if I don't finish it, I feel like I didn't give it a fair chance, and I won't be able to really critique it if I don't completely finish it. So I finished it, and I didn't like it. So many pointless pages. And the ending, did it end? Everybody I told about the ending was like, oh, it sounds like they're setting up for another book. And I'm like, no, they're not, because he's dead. And finally, books that are on my to-read list. I have a page on my blog dedicated solely to books that I have read, books that I'm going to read, books that I'm currently reading. So I'll link to that below in my underwear because I'm not wearing pants. Just to name a few, I am hoping to read The Hobbit. I've already read the Lord of the Rings series, and I read pieces of The Hobbit in like my big literature book in like elementary school, but I want to read the whole novel. Divergent by Veronica Roth and Delirium by Lauren Oliver. Matched by Ali Condi. The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. As soon as I allow myself to buy another set of books, Life After College by Jenny Blake. Can't wait to read that. Feel so bad that I haven't already read it because I love Jenny. So that's all I have for you guys. Sorry it's so long, but I am so passionate about books. Hope I gave you guys some good ideas of things to read, things to not read, and if you guys have any ideas of books that you think that I would like, please leave me a comment. I need to know because I need to read as many books as I possibly can. Love your faces.